Happy Valentine's Day, boys and girls, and you join us once again for another episode of the What Happens In series of Football Manager 17. We've already done 2 episodes, one featuring the clubs after 10 years and one featuring players after 10 years. We've advanced another 10 years into the future, so we've done 20 years on holiday mode in total. So let's go and have a look at some of the achievements in the competitions. We'll start off with the Premier League. Let's see how that's been faring in the last 10 years since we last looked. So let's see what the Premier League is saying. So here we go. Let's have a look at the past winners. So since we last did this, Arsenal have won 3 more titles. Chelsea have added 3 titles. Man United and Man City have added 2 titles apiece. Chelsea with another 4 runners-up. Man United with a couple of runners-up. Man City with a runners-up. And Arsenal with a couple of runners-up in the last 2 seasons. Let's have a look at the league tables from those few seasons that we've simulated. So last season, Man City won by 2 points over Arsenal. The season before that, Chelsea won by 8 points over Arsenal. Man City won by a point over Chelsea in 33-34. Man United won by a point over Chelsea in 32-33. Chelsea by a point over Manchester United in 31-32. Arsenal by 7 points over Chelsea in the 30-31 season. Manchester United by 4 points in 29-30. Chelsea by 5 points in 28-29. Arsenal by 12 points in 27-28 as a massive total difference between those and West Ham there. And in 26-27, Arsenal won by 3 points from Manchester United. So yeah, I mean, they've shared it out pretty much evenly between Arsenal, Man United, Chelsea and Man City. Kind of what you'd expect really, given the dominance currently in the Premier League. Arsenal probably performing a little bit above expectation based on how they perform in real life. Let's have a quick look at the FA Cup. So the holders, most recent holders are Manchester City. And again, it looks like pretty much Chelsea with a win there. Manchester United with 4 wins. Man City with 3 and Arsenal with 2. Wolverhampton have finished runners-up 4 times in total in the 20-year simulation. 3 in the last 10 years that we've ran through. Chelsea have finished runners-up 3 times also. Again, kind of what you'd expect with Man City, Arsenal, Manchester United and Chelsea pretty much bossing things. And let's have a look at the League Cup. It's the EFL Cup, isn't it? The EFL Cup holders West Ham. So West Ham won it last year, beating Everton in the final. Man City have had quite a strong stranglehold on this. They've won it 4 times since our last... 5 times, sorry, since our last simulation. West Ham have won it 3 times. Chelsea once, Manchester United once, but Man City have really made this tournament their own, which is interesting really. They've won a couple of league titles, but they haven't been as dominant in the league as in the League Cup, so that's interesting. Man United again thereabouts, a lot of final performances, a lot of runner-up spots more than anything. Arsenal the same. So yeah, that completes the English League. Let's go and have a look over at the Bundesliga. So into Germany we go, and first of all we've got the Bundesliga. The title holders are Dortmund, as we can see, and the past winners, as it's pretty much Bayern and Dortmund again. Wolfsburg did manage 2nd place in 33-34 season, but generally speaking it's been Dortmund have won 2, 4, 6 titles, Bayern 4 in the last 10 years of simulation. Let's have a quick look at the league tables for those few seasons. So a 7-point win for Dortmund in the most recent season. 7 points again in the penultimate season. 15 points clear in the 33-34 season. Dortmund must have a really good squad actually, looking at that. Bayern won it by 5 points in 32-33. In 31-32, Dortmund beat Bayern by a point, and then a further 9 points clear of Leverkusen. Stuttgart, Bochum and Hamburg are all relegated. In the 30-31 season, Bayern won by 11 points from Dortmund, further 5 points back to Leverkusen. In the 29-30 season, a point separated Bayern and Dortmund, with Schalke only 2 points back in third place. In the 28-29 season, Dortmund won by a massive 16-point gap from Bayern. 27-28, Bayern won by 13 points from Dortmund. There's quite a few big gaps in here, isn't there? Like Bayern 13 points, Dortmund have won by 15 and 16 and all sorts. Dortmund won by a point in 26-27. That is our most recent simulation. Terrible seasons for Kaiserslautern and Frankfurt in that season. Only 13 and 14 points totaled by both of those. I think, to be honest, that's probably one of the worst seasons I've seen in any league on this game. They've lost 29 and 26 games between them. That's a total of 55 games out of 68 lost. That is some effort. Let's see if they manage to come back up. Who was it? Frankfurt and Kaiserslautern. They haven't come. Frankfurt managed to come back up, but then got relegated again with 25 points. Kaiserslautern still haven't managed to come back. Kaiserslautern managed to came back up, but again they got relegated with just 20 points in the 30-31 season. And I think that's probably about it, really. Frankfurt haven't been back up again since, nor have Kaiserslautern. No, so I think that season there has well, obviously they've both come back up since, but I think that's taken a massive hit out of both teams. Let's have a quick look at the DF Pokal season. So the DFB Pokal, and here we can see that again Dortmund pretty much having a stranglehold on this tournament as well. 6 wins, Bayern with 2, Köln with 1, Leverkusen with 1 in 33-34. Quite a big win that for Köln, or Köln, or however you pronounce that, in the 32-34 season. Let's head across now and have a look at League One over in France and see what's been going on. So we're on League One here. Let's go and have a look at the past winners. And wow, Paris Saint-Germain, PSG have been absolutely dominant. Aside from a win by Monaco in 26-27 and Bordeaux in 27-28, PSG have absolutely dominated with 2, 4, 6, 8 wins in the last 10, added on to their previous 9 wins. So they've won 17 titles out of 20. That is ridiculous. Just incredible. And in the 3 seasons where they didn't win it, they finished second. They have got some fantastic regens in the game. I'll go into that shortly. But PSG dominating the French leagues. I'm not going to bother looking at the cups because I assume it's much of the same. So let's head across and have a look quickly at the Danish league. So we're on the Danish league here, the Superliga, and FC Copenhagen have pretty much been as dominant as PSG have, winning 17 of the 20 renewals of the Superliga. AAB, I think that's Aalborg, won the league in 34-35, and Lyngby won the title in 26-27. Obviously, we've already covered the previous 10 seasons, so we're not going to go back over that again. Lyngby have finished second in 4 of the last 6 renewals of the Superliga, but generally speaking, Copenhagen have been a touch above everything else in that league. Not going to bother looking at the margins again. So let's now head across and look at the Portuguese league. So kind of as you'd expect, Porto have been pretty dominant here, winning 7 of the last 10 renewals of the league. Benfica with 2 either side of the latest Porto winning 34-35. A win for Sporting in 26-27, but generally speaking, Porto have had a real stranglehold on this. Kind of, as I say, as you expect in the Primeira Liga. Not going to go too much detail into this because we've got other leagues to get into. So let's now head across to the Lotto Extra Class of the Polish League and see if Legia Warsaw are still dominating there. And yes, they still are dominating. Although there's been a couple of wins, one for Jagiellonia Białystok and Cracovia in 34-35. Quite a few runners-up spots for Lech Poznan, but Legia Warsaw have been pretty much top dogs in the Polish League pretty much all the way through this holiday save. There's been 16 wins from the 20 total possible. Lech Poznan with 2, Jagiellonia Białystok and Cracovia with the other wins. Again, we're not going to go into this in too much detail because we've got a lot to get through in this episode. So we'll leave that there. And next we'll have a look at the Belgian League. So on to the Jupiler Pro League in Belgium. And it's been pretty much Anderlecht who have been the main force in the last 10 years. There's been a couple of wins in there for Standard Liège. A win for Club Brugge in 32-33. And a win for KV Kortrijk. They've come from nowhere really. They haven't. When was the last time they've won a title? And we're going all the way back to. We're going right the way back here, and they've won their first title in the history of the club. So let's have a quick look and see what they're about, where they've come from. They must have got promoted somewhere. Competitions. So. The Cup runners-up, Cup winners, Super Cup runners-up, Cup winners, Jupiler League Pro champions. Doesn't really say there. They must have been in the Jupiler Pro League throughout, but obviously just one of those teams that kind of make up the numbers. But let's have a quick look at last season and see how much they won it by. They only won it by a point over Anderlecht, but that's a really good season for them. It's nice to see a different team winning like the biggest title in a different country. So let's leave the Belgian league there for now. Let's head across to the Dutch league and see what's going on there. So we're in the Eredivisie here, and we've got past winners. So generally speaking, again, Ajax have been the dominant force in Dutch football. A win again in the 27-28 season for Heerenveen. Utrecht won it in 32-33. AZ Alkmaar in 34-35. And Heracles won in the 35-36 season. And again, I think we're going to be similar to the Belgian league here. They last won it in 1940-1941 season. So that's big news if you're a fan of this team. That is big news. Let's have a quick look, see how far they won it by last season. And they won it by 3 points over AZ Alkmaar, Ajax and the Go Ahead Eagles. So yeah, that's really good. Again, it's nice to see different teams winning. Let's now have a look at the Brazilian league and see what's going on there. So during this season, you can see that Corinthians are currently top after 16 games by 3 points, but we're not too interested in that at the moment. We'll have a look here, and Corinthians have won 5 of the last 10, Santos with 3, Internacional and Palmeiras with the other victories. Pretty much shared, but Corinthians are clearly one of the more dominant forces in Brazilian football in this save. Kind of what you'd expect, really. Santos are still in there. Flamengo with a lot of second places between the 19 and 29 season. They had a 10-year spell. No real wins. They won it in 2018, but they finished runners-up a lot of times there. Santos are now filling that position. Grêmio with the second place for the first time since 2018. They managed a third in 2026. So that's the Brazilian league looked at. Let's have a look at the... Where should we go now? Let's have a look. What else have we got? Let's have a look at Serie A. So we're over in Italy, and we can see that Roma have recently broken a string of dominance by Juventus, winning the league from the 28-29 season to the 34-35 season. But Roma have now broke that, and Juventus didn't even finish in the top 3 in the 35-36 season. Napoli added another win, as did AC Milan earlier on in this 10-year simulation. Don't forget, we're 20 years into the future here, so let's go and have a quick look how things happened there. Juventus were in 4th. Roma beat Napoli by a point with a further 5 points back to Inter Milan. So that's pretty much playing out how you expect, really. Let's have a look. Where else can we go? Where else can we go here? We don't want to do that. We don't want to do no editing. Let's go and have a look at Scotland, actually. Let's see who's been winning the Scottish leagues. So much like PSG before them and Copenhagen, Celtic have been absolutely dominant. They've won 18 of the last 20 titles. Rangers winning a title in 24-25 and Aberdeen in 19-20. But Celtic, much like in real life, are the top dogs in the Scottish game. And they're on a 10-year unbeaten run. 11-year unbeaten run in the league. And you've got to fancy them to make it 12. Yeah, kind of what you expect again. Let's leave that there. Where else can we go? I think we've got another couple of leagues that I've got loaded that we can have a look at. Let's head across to La Liga in Spain and see what's been going on there. So we've got La Liga, past winners. So again, we've got Atletico de Madrid, who've won 6 of the last 10. Real Madrid have won 3. And Athletic Bilbao have won a league title in 34-35. That's quite big news for them. They finished runners-up twice either side of that. Barcelona in 3rd, but they've really seemed to have come on in the last few seasons. They finished 3rd in the 32-33 season, then 2nd, and they've got a title. So that's good news if you're a fan of those. Let's change this squad view briefly. I was just getting some previous data for a spreadsheet I was making. They've got quite a nice little squad there. Star players, possibly. I'm going to take a punt and say it could be this guy, who looks pretty damn good, doesn't he? 25-year-old, worth 28.5 million. Iker Sukunza. Not really a Spanish name, but he seems proficient in the attacking midfield role. So that's Bilbao looked at and La Liga looked at. Let's see what else we can take a look at. Can we get a look at... Let's try Sweden. Let's try the Allsvenskan. See what's been going on there. So the past winners of that. Malmo were quite strong in the first episode we did for this, and they've continued by winning another 3 titles. But AIK have won 2. Hammarby have won 1. Malmo have won 4, actually, sorry. Osters, Djurgårdens and John Coping Sodra, whoever they are. Any ideas? Wow, so they've won a league, which is really great for them. They've come up from the 1st division, looking at this. That's quite good, actually, isn't it? That they've come through via the Super Etan. A couple of times they've come up. They got relegated. They won the Super Etan in 28. They stayed up, and then they won the Allsvenskan in the 32 season. So, I mean, if you're a fan of these guys, it's quite a big name for a squad. Then that's really good, isn't it? Osters IF. Don't know too much about these guys either, but again, they look to have come up from Division 1. And they've done quite well in recent seasons. They were up in the top half of the league. Media prediction has them in a 2nd. So Osters Idrottsforening. Yeah, bit of a mouthful, that one. So we'll leave that there. That was the Swedish league. And see what else have we got? Have we got anything else that we haven't covered? we could look at the Welsh League, I guess. We didn't do that in the last episode, so let's go and see what's been going on there. Again, the Welsh teams are really difficult to pronounce. But the new Saints make it nice and easy for me. They've won 18 of the last 20 league titles. Gap Connors Key won the 35-36 season and Kevin Druids in a 28-29 season. But the new Saints, I don't know anything about these guys. But they seem to have the monopoly on Welsh football. Most points in a season, 86. Most wins in a season, 28 wins in the 32-33 season. So let's have a quick look actually at that 32-33 season. See, so there we go. 28 wins from 32 games, 3 draws, 1 defeat only, and they pulled an impressive 29 points clear of the nearest rival, Bala Town, who in turn were 5 points clear of Gap Connors Key. So yeah, New Saints are a dominant force. So that is the clubs looked at. That's the leagues even. Let's go and have a quick look at the European competitions. We'll start off with the Europa League first. So we're on the Europa League, and again, it's quite good to see. There's quite a bit of a mix here, a few different teams. So Roma followed up their win in 25-26 with a win in the competition in 26-27. Real Madrid have added a win. Liverpool have added a win. Arsenal again. Marseille. Man City with 2 wins. Liverpool with another win there in 32-33. So that puts them on 2 wins in this last 10-year simulation. Wolfsburg add another win in the competition in 34-35, and Dortmund had their first win in the competition in 35-36. I assume they've been predominantly playing in the Champions League. We can't go back any further. Dortmund have finished runner-up in 92-93 and 2001-2002, so that's a good thing for Dortmund. Let's have a look at the Champions League and see what's been going on there. Holders Arsenal, so if you're an Arsenal fan, that is great news. So here we go. So we're looking 26-27. So Man City won it in the 26-27 season. Arsenal in 27-28. Barcelona, Bordeaux in 29-30. That's quite a big result if you're a Bordeaux fan. PSG have only added another 2 Champions Leagues, which to be honest, I'm a bit disappointed with because PSG are a really bloody good side. Man United with a couple of wins, Chelsea with a win in there, and Arsenal most recently beating Chelsea in the final at the Stade Orange Velodrome in the 35-36 renewal of that. Let's head across now and look at the international competitions. We'll start off with the Euros. So here's the Euros, and as we knew from the previous episode, England won it in 2024. However, they haven't been able to add to that, and France won it in 2028. Russia with a win in 2032, beating England in the final, and Germany beat Ukraine in the 2036 final of the European Cup. Now let's head across and have a look at the World Cup and see what's been going on there. And as we can see, France are the most recent title holders. Serbia won in 2026, Brazil in 2030, and France beat England in the 2034 season, with Germany in 3rd place. So kind of England are on the verge of another big title win, but they're not quite getting it done in the big games. But that said, compared to the real life counterparts, you'd take that every day of the week, wouldn't you? So that's that looked at. We've looked at the Champions League. We've looked at a load of different leagues. Let's have a look at a couple of clubs. We'll start off by looking at PSG because in my memory that makes, they're pretty much probably one of the most dominant teams on the save. So we're on the PSG squad. They haven't started the season yet, so ignore the 15th place in League One. And as we can see here, they've got a really top-end squad. Let's have a look at a few of their players. We'll start off with their £59 million, 22-year-old Brazilian midfielder, Felipao, who looks fantastic. He's got a lot of excellent attributes in there, in the right sort of areas. A real menace. Let's have a quick look at his history. So yeah, he came from Palmeiras. PSG paid 25 million for him last season. He made 37 appearances, scoring 16 goals, 5 assists and 1 man of the match for 7.42 overall rating. Let's have a quick look at the £60 million Ukrainian Andriy Lysenko, who again, I mean, he looks really good, doesn't he? It doesn't take a genius to work that out, really. And also why Ukraine have done so well recently. Let's have a look at his history quickly. And we can see that he came from Villarreal, who got him on a free from Dnipro, which is amazing. They paid £43 million for him last season. And he played 31 games, scoring 4, assisting 6, 3 player of the matches for a 7.34 rating. He looks absolutely really good. Murat Yildirim is still here. We looked at him in the previous episode of this series at the 10-year stage. And as we can see, 30 years old now, he's played 103 times for his country, scoring 17 goals. He's still a top-end player, as we can see, and he's been a real stalwart, mid-30s, high 30 game a season man, averaging over 7 every time. Real good purchase, well worth his £81 million fee that they paid for him in the 30-31 season. So it's good to see him still in there. We've also got... Let's have a look at Federico, who's getting a bit older now. He's 34, but look at those stats. He can still do a job there. He's only valued at 3.1 million, but he's played 104 times for his country, scoring 61 goals. And I assume he's got a hatful of goals for PSG. And as we can see there, I mean, he's been ever present every season. He's been an average 20 plus goal a season man, averaging over 8 ratings for almost every season. That is phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. And even last season, 7.89 rating. I mean, that is ridiculous. I wish my players played like that in my Bournemouth save. If you're interested in my Bournemouth save, I'll leave a link to it in the description down below. Head on over and have a look at that. Let's have a quick look at Gianluigi Donnarumma. Just because he's one of the original players, one of the top goalies in the game. He's 37 now, but he's played 654 times for PSG over a 19-year period. And he's pretty damn good, isn't he? I mean, he played 35 games last season, only conceded 30 with 14 clean sheets. He's just really good. Who else can we look at? Damian Basic. Danish left back, 27-year-old, 62 caps for his country, worth 50 million. Really good stats. Where did he come from? He came from Denmark to begin with. Then he went to Napoli, to Man City, and then finally to PSG for 58 million. Played 18 games last season for them. He looks like a work in progress. Valquine Garrido. He's still at PSG. We looked at him in the previous episode again. 84 caps for Brazil, 6 goals. Really good defensive midfielder, this guy. He's played 423 times for PSG over a 13-year period. And look at that again. Really high 7 ratings. A brilliant player. A really brilliant player who you'd love to have in your side. This is the kind of players you want when you're building a career save. Just fantastic. Who have we got here? We've got Marwan Gerbo, who looks brilliant. 19 goals in 55 appearances for PSG in the last 3 years. He scored a hatful of goals for Milan and Chelsea. And he looks a potent threat, really, in front of goal. Paid £71 million for him. And obviously, their pockets are deeper than the ocean, PSG. So, no surprise there. So I think we've seen pretty much all we want to see from PSG. Let's leave them. Let's go and have a look now at Arsenal actually. So here's Arsenal, multiple winners of the Premier League and winners of the Champions League most recently, and it's good to see that João Baltazar is still in the sticks for Arsenal. Again, we looked at him in the last episode. He has played a lot of games for Arsenal, 583. He's still their main keeper, and 7+ ratings every season, more or less, apart from his most recent season and a few earlier on. They've got some really nice players here. They've got, let's see who we can find here. Seems to be a lot of young lads in there, sticking with the kind of Wenger philosophy Arsenal appear to be. They've got this guy, Owusu Ando, who's got a ridiculous moustache. I'm not sure what's going on there. That is fairly ridiculous, isn't it? Ghanaian, 56 caps, 8 goals. Really good attacking midfielder on the right-hand side of the park. He's been there for 4 years now. He's scored 14 goals. Owen O'Donnell, or Ian O'Donnell, or Owen O'Donnell, one of the two. 43 caps, 4 goals for the Republic of Ireland. Valued at just under 40 million. He's very good in a lot of midfield positions there. He comes from Southampton. Started off at Crumlin United in the 31 season. And he cost 33.5 million from Southampton a couple of seasons ago. And he's played his first season. He's just bedding into the Arsenal team. We've got Geronimo Lopez also, who looks really good. The high determination, decisions, flair, passing, technique, vision. What you want for a creative midfield player. He's a mainstay in this Arsenal midfield. Signed from Corinthians, 22.5 million. And there's a few other guys that worth looking at. Are probably valued a bit less now. Fabian Weisner, for example. Again, 34 years old, 47 goals, another ridiculous moustache from 92 games. Still can do a job at the top level. Still worth every penny of 4 million. Signed from 68 million from the Bundesliga in 25-26 and has done really well, averaging around a 20 goal a season mark for Arsenal. A real finisher in front of goal. And Arsenal, incidentally, have got an Indian player, Suvraj Chowdhury, and he looks pretty good, doesn't he, for an Indian? Really, I mean, don't get me wrong, it doesn't matter where you're from, but you don't really expect many Indian players to be playing for the top Premier League clubs. But he's worth 32 million. He's done really well, and he's come from Atletico de Kolkata to Newcastle. And he's had a couple of loan spells with Dundee and Ajaccio, and then back to Newcastle before a £20.5 million move to Arsenal in the penultimate season. So let's leave Arsenal there. Let's go and have a look at Dortmund quickly. So as we spoke about earlier on in this episode, that Dortmund have had a real good hold on the league, the Bundesliga, over the last 10 years. So that's got to be in part to some of this team. So let's have a look at a few players. First of all, let's have a look at their goalkeeper, Oleg Grushenko, who looks really good, doesn't he? Ukrainian, 71 caps. A lot of high stats in there. I like to see that from top-end players. And they got him for 25 million from Dnipro in 29-30. And he's really kept a low concede rate. Really good ratings. And that's got to be in part to his defence as well. So let's have a look at some of his defenders. We've got Luis Montero, who, we've seen better, but he's pretty good. Look at his stats, around the 7 mark. Signed from Arsenal for 17.5 million after a season. It's probably a good bit of business, that, actually, looking at that. We've got Murike Bagayoko, a German left-back, wing-back, 26 years of age. He looks quite good. Again, there's probably better out there, but he's averaging the high 7s, as you'd probably expect. Patrick Aigbedian, who he looks quite good actually for 20. Defensive right, plenty of high teamwork, high work ethic, really good tackling, decent concentration, and he's very quick as well and quite strong. So, he's going to be a top player for these. Actually, he's breaking through into the first team now. He played 23 games last season, but I think he's going to come into his own now. He's still only 20. Bjorn Sufer, only 18 years of age. He's a defensive midfielder. He's played a small handful of games, 5 games last season, but he's still very much a project for the future. Who else do we need to have a look at here? Let's have a look at Czech Angban, a 28-year-old Ivory Coast Ivorian. He's got a high passing, but again, there's a lot better out there. But his stats are relatively decent. And we've got, who else should we look at? Slavio Keric, Slavko Keric, even a left attacking midfielder with plenty of speed, really good physical stats. Technical, he probably could do with being a bit better. His passing isn't all that. But again, if you're trying to beat defenders, you need that pace. And yeah, look at that. Really, he's 33.5 million. I think you could do better business really for that sort of money. Let's have a quick look at Augusto Vaz, who's their attacking midfield right / striking prospect. He's 25 years old, Portuguese, played 4 times for his country, and I assume he's done quite well since coming to Dortmund, and he has pretty well, not amazing. To be honest, I'm kind of disappointed by what I'm seeing really. Maybe I've looked at the wrong players for this, or what, I'm not too sure, but I kind of expected a bit better considering how dominant they've been in the Bundesliga. Maybe the rest of the teams just aren't that good, perhaps. Maybe Bayern aren't as good as they were. I suppose we could look at that in the next episode. I'll do another episode when we get 30 seasons ahead. I'm going to do those up until 50. I'll probably try and do one a week. So if you've enjoyed this, please leave a like on the video down below. Every like is really appreciated. If you've got any comments, if there's any teams you'd like to see, if you'd like to know where the team you support is in the football pyramid, then let us know. I can do that for you, not a problem. If there's any players you'd like to look at, if you'd like to look at any of the national teams perhaps, see how, let's say for example, England are developing, who they got in their first team. Obviously by now it's pretty much going to be all regens, but again, that is something we can look at. So if you've got any ideas or comments, please let me know in the comment section down below. If you want to follow me on Twitter, I'll leave a link in the description down below also. You can follow me on there. I'm quite active on there. I like to tweet a bit here and about the game and just things in general, so you can follow me on Twitter. And if you're new to the channel and this is the first video you've seen, I am running a series on AFC Bournemouth. I'm going to be starting up a new series soon. Not too sure who I'm going to be, although Steaua Bucharest are up there as potential front runners. So if you want to subscribe, hit the subscribe button down below. And again, thank you for watching everyone, and enjoy your Valentine's Day tonight, and I'll talk to you soon.